Well, welcome, Ewell. It's so excited to have you on Rendering Unconscious,
Thank you. And likewise.
the final interview of 2024. What a year.
Yeah.
I was thinking it would be so nice to talk to you around the winter solstice, like going into the solstice, since you're such a magical person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. The winter solstice. That's a very nice period of time, a moment in time. So we can get some more spiritual energy and put it in practical ways. So it's a very, very nice moment.
Exactly. I love that. So I think it's a great way, yeah, to kind of harness the energy and hibernate, and then we're ready to make it work for us in the new year. What are you up
Yeah.
to lately?
Lately, work, 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 and the kids and the family. Because I said December, and we have a lot of festive days with the children, and at work because I work with children too right
Oh.
now. So because I'm a social worker too, so I work with children at the moment, and then for the next year in 2025, we will do something more practical with the children. So more in focus, learning to breathing techniques for the children,
Mm.
and how to focus more on what we have to do to progress. So it's a very large task
That's so
to do with the group.
important.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So
Carl
and
and I, Carl always
yep,
talks about that. He wishes they would teach like meditation and breathing exercises and these kinds of things in school. So it's so great that you're doing that through social work.
yeah, yeah. I'm doing that, and I use music too, classical music, with children. So the vibration we put let's say the negative vibrations down and more the positive higher, so they can be more active, but in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you seeing kids like I always think of because so many people nowadays feel like they have ADHD, problems concentrating and on the spectrum and things, and I'm wondering how much our relationship with the computer and being online all the time is affecting kind of the way we're processing information and our ability to concentrate and things like that. Do you see some sort of relation there? Do you see a lot of kids who have attention problems or?
A lot every day, because they like to see YouTube Kids, and it's a lot of color and sounds, and it's going faster and faster, and
Mhm.
the screen is talking to them,
Mhm.
but the focus is all around them and not in them,
Right.
inwards. So for example, I have a group kids, and they're looking at each other like, you're doing this, you do this, but never what I'm doing. I'm
Mhm.
doing good. I'm the one who is not the problem, but the trigger for someone else.
Mhm.
Uh, they are all over the place, but not focus on the task they have to do to progress. So it's a problem. It's a big problem.
Yeah, I think so. That makes a lot of sense because what I think is like, yeah, when we were kids, we didn't have this,
Uh-huh.
obviously. And like we had
Yeah,
to
yeah.
invent things to do, like we had to I especially am an only child, so I didn't have anyone else to play with or hang out with. So it's just like you just had to figure out something to do and create things and make up stories and go outside and things like that. But now kids are, fed so much information constantly. I feel like it makes people really like passive where they're just like waiting for the next thing to be brought to them or come to them, but there's no like agency from the inside in creating that next thing, you know?
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Because I'm an '80s kid. I have two more little brothers. They're grown up man right now, but I'm the oldest one. And from the '80s, we didn't have a telephone like this right now, the Android. At home, we didn't have a computer. I had a typewriter
Hmm.
and well, TV, cable TV, but most of the time I was into music.
Hmm.
So all the time was making music, and the time that we don't have much to do, you're outside.
Hmm.
So you're playing outside, you look at the nature, you're playing in the nature and stuff like that. And I'm from Curacao, so the most of the time we went to the beach. So
Hmm.
you're, you're relaxing and the focus was on yourself because you have to entertain yourself with yourself. So
Exactly.
yeah, that was our time. You can relate to that. And but right now people in general, there's only the phone and the Netflix and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's time to refocus.
It's totally time to refocus. We also have to talk about the journey from Curacao to the Netherlands because I come from Miami and it's
Oh,
very
yeah.
different living in Miami versus Sweden. And I bet
Oh
it is for
yeah,
you too.
really, really, yeah. Yeah. Right now I'm living in the Netherlands, in The Hague,
Mm.
and uh, I'm from Curacao, and Curacao is a little island. It's only the whole year summertime, so with the sun, the beach is like a bounty
Mm.
um, picture. Um,
So much fruit. I miss the fruit. Oh
Fruit.
my
Oh
God.
yeah.
Avocados,
Ah,
mangoes.
yeah, yeah. And the sun, so you can
The sun.
go
I miss the
outside and
sun right now, especially the solstice.
yeah, right now we don't have sun here, so
No, neither.
yeah, and swimming in salt water.
Warm
That's
salt
something.
water.
Yeah, warm and salt, and yeah, that's a pretty crazy fun, awesome time. Then on Curacao, but I had to go to the Netherlands because to study.
Mm.
Curacao, you don't have a dental work. Um, how do you say, school or social work and stuff like that. And so we have to go to the Netherlands so you can study and get more higher papers. So um, with 18 years old, I came to the Netherlands at my grandma. So I was living with my grandma. It was awesome time, but it was necessary. Um, Over there, Curacao is really nice. The fruit, the beaches, and you can go outside late at night and do something. It's not cold, but to educate yourself, you have a limit there. So
Mm.
you have to go to another part of the world to get your degree. So that's why the transition. Yeah.
Did you study dental and social work?
No, I came here in Holland. I studied first for dentist assistant.
Oh.
Yeah. I was working as a dentist assistant first, and then I went to SPH, social worker. That's not university. That's college, something like college. I don't know how the degree, um, how is that compared with the United States or something like that? Because here you have a MAVO, HAVO, then you have MBO, and then HBO, and after HBO, university. Thus, I was HBO as a master degree,
Mm,
but not university.
mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's different
So
everywhere. Like here, like most psychologists in the US have a doctorate, but in like Europe and Sweden, most psychologists or psychotherapists have like master's degree. So
yeah,
it's different each place. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So and I was study social work in 2010. I had my degree, so I went to work at a juvie jail for
Mm,
juvenile, only for boys.
mm,
I did that for like five years, and then I went back to Curacao for 1 year because the juvie jail had to close down.
mm,
200 workers had to go home, so I had a chance to go back to Curacao, and that was in the top 100 for the criminals. And I did that for 1 year, and I came back in 2016 to Holland. So and then work here with juveniles at a training house. Like they go there to train. We're gonna train them to go back to the society.
mm-hmm.
And right now I work with children. Yeah,
That's so great. And they're teaching them such wonderful skills.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's good to do that because right now I'm going back to the center with the children because with the juvie jail, um, they went to jail, but so the street, um, they was learning from the street, and
Mm,
right now I can learn the children so they can go outside, and that's a different.
mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Totally. And I was listening to your podcast on YouTube a little bit, and it's interesting how they're making the connection with like helping to help these kids kind of find themselves and find their kind of magic and their kind of power, personal power, and relating that to yeah, to helping other people and to doing it ourselves and creating our own kind of personal from the inside, you know?
From the inside, yes, yes. And that's a bit about the chaos magic too. With children, they don't know that, but I know what I'm doing with them, and that's wonderful to see. They can trust you because of your actions and how you present yourself, because I'm a father of 4 kids.
Mm.
So they trust that, and so they can learn something about that. That's really deep for me.
It's wonderful and helping guiding young people in that way.
Yeah,
It's so important being a good role model.
yeah, yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
And I feel like, how did you get into kind of magic in the first place? Is it part, like in Miami, it's kind of, at least in certain circles, like more part of the culture than it is like maybe in other places in the US. Is it the same in Curacao?
Some like that. In Curacao, first of all, my family, they were Christians, so
Mm,
I went to church. Later, I was baptized at a Catholic
mm,
church, and then we had to cross over to evangelic, a
mm,
Christian. So we went with my mother and father. We went to the church. I was like 3 or 4 days a week in the church.
mm.
with Sunday
Same.
school. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I
With
had to go every
Sundays.
day before school. Our school
Yeah.
was like had a church attached, so we had to go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday we didn't have to go to church before school, and Saturday we had off.
Yeah, yeah. We meet on Wednesday. We went to church to pray. It was a praying moment with your group. And Friday, that was for children and juvenile. So you can go there. We had topics to talk about, talk about music and rock music, how rock music is for the devil and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Oh
Yeah,
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 that
yeah,
was the 80s.
yeah, yeah. And play games. And Sunday we went in the morning and in the afternoon. In the morning, you go there, praying time and get together. And then you have the Sunday school. And then in the afternoon, we go back to do more stuff in the church. So and between that, the church, I went to church, but I was listening um, to rock music, to metal music like Black Sabbath and Metallica and all those bands. I was heavily inspired by them because my father and my mother listened to John Bon Jovi,
Hmm.
the glam rock stuff, and my
Hmm.
father was more into Jimi Hendrix and
Mm.
Deep Purple and stuff like that. And then at school, we had friends who listened to metal too, and that was the inspiration and the motivation to go deeper and that kind of stuff. But the turning point to more magical and approach and the occultism is with the books of the old Egypt civilizations.
Hmm.
And you know this man, rest in peace, Kenneth Anger,
Hmm.
because I saw the Lucifer Rising on TV cable. I was a
Mm.
little boy, and that was like, I need more of this. And the name Lucifer Rising, that's really not done for the church. And that was even more motivated for me to search more about that topic. So I had the Bible, but I had the library. So I went to the library and searched more about Lucifer, um, Luciferian societies. And then I came across the Satanic Bible of Enter LaVey,
Nice.
and yeah, that was the like the push to go farther in. So that's a bit about uh, the transition from Christianity to more occultism.
Very nice. You know, Carl's doing a class on the Kenneth Anger in February
Nice.
online. Yeah. I'll send you the
Uh,
link because that's going to be good. I'm excited for that. And then I think he's
uh,
going to turn it into a book. So,
yeah, yeah, because I wrote a book, Grip Gara, and I had a note for Kenneth Anger, but I had nobody with the connection to give him the book. Kenneth is not now gone, rest in peace. But I have a book out, Grip Gara, and I have a note for him, how he inspires me to do my journey, my path.
so wonderful. Yeah, no, his films are like, they're like nothing else. They're so incredible. They're real works of magic. Absolutely. And yeah, let's talk about your books.
Yeah, yeah, because the last book I have, this one.
Oh, nice to see it in print. Really nice.
Yeah, yeah, the Saturnian philosophy and practice. I have more books, a total of like 7 or 8 books, something like that. And next year there will be three more books, but this one is the last one for this year. How I put Saturnian philosophy in practice, like with the children.
Exactly. I
How
love how it has the practical kind of ways people can work.
yeah. And all the books is more about the practical ways, because most of the time you're reading some occult book, and it sounds great, it looks great, but every time I miss the practicality, how to do things in your daily lives, because we are talking together, we get together. We were working in the society, and magic is more than only like abracadabra, the word. It's
Hmm.
more the how you do things, and I think action in action, that's the real magic, how to act. And in my books, I highlight the actions more than the like the potions and stuff like that. It's really great, but I'm more a practical person, and as a social worker, it's my duty to put something there so people can take steps for themselves and help themselves. So yeah.
Exactly. And I feel like there really is a link between like psychology, social work, and magical thinking. And that's the thing, like why it's so frustrating to me when it gets kind of pathologized or like they frame magical thinking this way. Like I remember once for a paper, I'm like, what does it actually say it means? And it was something like believing that your thoughts can like cause actions in the world or something. And it's like, well, we know like that your thoughts do matter and how you're thinking about things, and that you could think of as like cognitive behavioral therapy. Like you can change your way of thinking if you notice yourself going into a spiral, and you can consciously, like you can do the deep talk therapy and try to figure out why this
Yeah.
issue is coming up, but you can also imply these like practical things of like, no, I'm going to stop myself right now and I'm going to shift my mind this way so I don't go into this downward spiral. And even like in your day-to-day life, like yeah, like choosing, like, okay, of course I could focus on these negative things that are happening, but like, what is happening here that I want to focus on that is working well for me? And you can shift your attention, and that does matter, and it does make things better for yourself, you know?
Yeah. And you're saying the right angles, because I'm hearing focus,
Mhm.
and focus is the primary step. Focus on one thing and take action throughout what you're focusing on. Um, and my first book, Create My Own Path, as a link with Curacao, how I came to the Netherlands, because I went alone with
Mhm.
18 years old, alone in the plane to Europe. I've never been before in Europe. Never. I never saw snow, and
Mm.
not and the four season, totally unknown, only from books and films. So I was in the airplane, and you can panic or do something about that. And how do you say, um, focusing on what do you want to do, how it's going to be, I don't know, but I want to present myself as such. So I went to the stewardess in the airplane, get me a notebook and a pen, and I was writing my future down.
Mm.
Like, okay, I'm going to Netherlands. I go there for the dentist assistant degree. I want to present myself like this. I'm a musician. I'm an artist. What do I need to get there and be relaxed? And what do I have right now? and how can I um, take that and make something more powerful with what I have right now. So I have myself, my mind, my talent, my voice. So I wrote everything down, and that's the first book. So the occult um, philosophy all in on one page, and that was my plan, my visualization, and my steps to action. So um, that was the first book, very practical.
And amazing that you had the thought to do that at 18. That's so fantastic.
Oh yeah, yeah, because I was like scared in the airplane, like my God, now what? Because
Mm.
I'm going to the Netherlands via Brussels. Um, so how, who, what? My grandma was in the Netherlands already, but I like, what's going on, man?
It's
What do I have
so
to do?
different.
Yeah, yeah. And I had a Walkman. Do you know Walkman, the
Hmm.
cassette? I had the Walkman because I had only two pairs of jeans, my guitar, some CDs, and my Walkman and cassettes. So I didn't have had a Discman at the time. So I had my cassette with the Lucifer Rising soundtrack
Oh,
on it,
nice.
and Darkane, a cassette with Darkane, a cassette with Devil Doll. This one, Devil Doll, this one was a true motivation for me in musical terms. Devil Doll and Meshuggah from Sweden,
Hmm.
and Cradle Field. I had it on my cassette, so put it in my ears, like with the Walkman headphones,
Hmm.
and write it down, write everything down. So music uh, had a like a push for me, a good energy. So to push me through the fear, because I don't like fear. I have to transform fear in something meaningful and beautiful. So that's my whole point.
Yeah, and I think like what you said, taking action is so important. And that's what I worry that kids aren't doing because they're kind of becoming passive with just like expecting things to happen to them or be presented to them. And, it's so important to like do something about it. Just keep moving. Keep it moving, keep it moving. Don't get inert. Don't just sit and hide, hide in bed because that doesn't make anything better. I think when I was like 23, I was like super depressed and trying to figure out like where am I gonna go? What am I
Mm-hmm.
gonna do? And I like stayed in bed for like a week or two or something and was just like, feeling sorry for myself. And then when you get up out of bed, everything is actually just worse because you didn't deal with things for 2 weeks. So it's like you
Yeah,
might as well
yeah.
just get up and deal with it because it's not gonna go anywhere if you don't.
Yeah, yeah, because there was some clients of me, and but I was working at the Salvation Army
Hmm.
as a social worker too. So there was some clients, and they have money problems because you have to open the documents to see what do you have to pay, when do you have to go to the bureau to fill in something to get money or to get help. So every day for these people that like, I don't want to see anything. Let everything down. Do nothing. Only eat and sleep. But one particular client, I went there, big house. Huh? This man had everything, like the uh, the keyboard, like Orgel, like Antolavey stuff.
Hmm.
He had something like that in the house, but depressed. He was
Mm.
depressed. He had the music stuff, but depressed. So I was talking to him and said, like, man, I come every day at 8 o'clock in the morning before I go to work. I go at your house, drink some tea or coffee. You get up, we open everything, put it on the table, and I'm going to work. And I come back, and you have to put everything in nice boxes so we can read it in the weekend. So he like, I'm scared. I said, that's just paper, you know.
You
What?
just gotta deal with it.
Yeah, what's gonna the paper will chew you up? No. So we have to open to get action. So um, then he looked at me and said, like, yeah, man, I have to get up and do something. So yeah, get up, do something. Better to do something than do nothing, because if you do nothing, you will sink more in problems. So, like you said, action, take action, everything, every day, um, little steps, but do it.
Exactly, exactly. Um, yeah, well, let's talk about your other books. If you have seven, I have two, and tell me
Yeah,
about the others.
yeah. I have a book. Yeah, Saturday. That's a book about my ritual. Why Saturday? Because of Saturn Day, and
Hey, what's your birthday and your all of your signs?
my signs. My birthday is in July.
Oh, me
I'm
too.
a I'm in Cancer. You too.
Me too.
Yeah. I'm 18. Yeah,
I'm the
18 of July.
first.
You're the first, like my brother.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. So I'm a Cancer. And how do you say the Cancer in your language?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, a Cancer, and but the Saturn stuff is more attractive to me because Cancer is more about the lunar, the moon,
Mm-hmm.
but the aesthetic of Saturn, the discipline of Saturn is more aligned with my um, day-to-day character.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm attracted to Saturn and Saturnian philosophy. But um, I know the moon is another big thing for us too. That's why I'm doing like a social worker,
Mm-hmm.
helping people, be for people, emotional, sustain for other people. Um, because we know that the moon is very important for the emotion of people on Earth. It's like ebb and flow, like has energy on the water, and we consist of water.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see the emotions of understand the emotions of other people because um, I'm talking about myself. I understand my own emotion, my own feelings. So I know where I have to work on something to get the best of myself. Uh, uh, so I can help another people, another human being. So, but the Saturn um, uh, uh, methods align with my character. So I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carl is a Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, and it's basically the opposite. Like it's right straight across on the wheel, because Carl's January 18th, so exactly like 6 months difference.
Yeah, can I say something?
Yeah,
My wife doesn't know, but I will address this well. My wife is a Capricorn of 17th of January.
interesting. Good
So
match.
yeah, so Carl is 18 of January.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is the 17th, and my mother is of the 5th of January. So I very know about the Capricorn people.
Mm-hmm. Funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
Saturn's so powerful. I mean, the Saturn return makes so much sense, and it's just such a powerful planet that whenever whatever sign it's going through, it really changes what feels like is going on in the world.
yeah, yeah. And that's why the book Saturday, because it's all about the discipline and the constancy of your actions. I'm in that book. I'm talking about every day on um, 5:05. I'm getting
Mm.
up, begin my day. Um, Mostly always dressed in all black, and um, the Saturday is my ritual day.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about the mindset with my children. So I bake some cake to eat together, um, um, planning, communicating how to start the next week, how was it go the week before, um, read to write and to create. So
Mm.
people um, they can get more the methods, the practical pieces of Saturn, like in a ceremony style. Because there are people like, you do ceremony, what the hell is that? It's like you with a candle and you maybe sometimes I do that, but it's the daily life stuff. How do you approach and how do you visualize what do you want and take the action? So it's the same story, but in more the ceremonial side of it.
Very nice. And that's so important. Again, like I said, practical skills that people can have and showing people how they can integrate things into their day-to-day life. Because I feel like people's imagination of what it is, you can have that. Like you can have the Gnostic mask and the whole pageantry and all that stuff. But you can also, yeah, like even when I sit down with you, I have a little table here with a candle
Yeah,
and I light it because like even doing the podcast is a little bit of a ritual space, especially when talking to someone who's magical like you and just like make being more intentional about how you want your setting to be, how you want the things around you to be, what you want in your space, how you want to be in your space, and just being more thoughtful and intentional and focused about things and your actions in the world, even just in your own, yeah, environment.
yeah, yeah, and that's the precisely link to my other book, Marriage. I have an other book, Marriage. It's about the conscious and the subconscious mind.
Mm,
But how I wrote that book, that was wonderful. I wrote it in 7 days,
mm,
but it was like um, I sat down with this uh, typewriter, this one,
nice.
yeah, without distractions.
Mm-hmm.
I sat down and I wrote everything in my mind. Like I'm sitting here, I wrote down, I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about this world, this feeling, I'm walking that way. And if you want to go with me, come with me. I got you. But we have to go to see the other side of imagination. It's not a fantasy, it's something real. It looks like a fantasy, but it's your own mind, and you can shape and reshape it. And that was the book of marriage. So
I think I need that
uh,
book.
yeah, yeah.
Is it in print or?
Yeah, everything
Okay,
is in print. Everything
nice.
is in print,
Very
and
good.
people can get it everywhere. It's international. It's in English too. And I, what a wonderful book. It's very um, like it's not random, but um, you learn to let it go, let your mind flow. And that's the book. That's the book. That's a really wonderful book
Yeah, it
from
sounds very
beginning to end.
psychoanalytic. Like just like calm your mind for a second, take a breath, and then see what comes to mind. And you're writing it out and following and seeing that process and seeing where it leads, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And I have to be clear for the people out there, without drugs, without drugs. Only
Hmm.
a cup of coffee, eat something, relax. You have to breathe right, sit down right, and just go. Go
Hmm.
in your mind. Don't be afraid, and spit it out. It's a therapy for me, for myself. It's a therapy.
Yeah, it's
It
like
relaxes me.
self-analysis. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
absolutely.
how Freud
And
learned psychoanalysis.
yeah, 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 yeah. And nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong. Um, and everything is okay. Put it there. Put it on a paper. And if you want, you can read it back, or you can burn it, and so be it.
Hmm.
But let your mind flow. It's
Hmm.
wonderful. That's where the magic happened. Really,
Totally.
really. Yeah,
Oh, I love it.
yeah. That's the marriage book.
Is this
I
where the
have,
internal back comes from?
yeah, 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 yeah. Because in turn, Black Star
Hmm.
originally was created. Now I created. Yeah, it was created in 1994.
Mm.
I was 1994, 14 years old, between 14 and 16 years old. Me and a friend of I, um, we were talking about philosophy because at school people like these guys are weirdos, you know.
Hmm. I know.
Yeah, yeah. Like I had a long hair, and but very intellectual, um, and we did things in a different way. And I did judo and aikido too, from
Mm.
Japanese culture. So I was black belt in aikido and judo too,
Wow.
champion for 5 years in judo at the Caribbean side. So our sensei um, was really good to us, to learn. We had the chance to learn the Japanese, the samurai Japanese culture. So they do things in certain way, and everything is about energy, the
Mm.
channeling about energy, and visualization. That was a big thing. You have to visualize before you can walk.
Mhm.
So every training, every day, we had to visualize how we're gonna do different techniques with different results.
Mm.
So that was a channeling to the mystical ways too. And yeah, and the internal black star, I with 14 years old, I had a dream
Mm.
that I saw myself within a dream, and like uh, the Mundi, that's a kind of forest on Curacao,
Mm.
an unexplored wilderness. It's a wilderness, not even a forest. It's a wilderness, unexplored wilderness. And I saw myself there with fire and like three seers, like silhouettes of some energy.
Mm.
And that was very magical for me, very interesting. And that that was the link to the name Internal Black Star,
Mm.
because I saw the sun like sun like eclipse because I saw eclipse in those years over there. It was very, very nice.
Mm.
And when I was a little boy with my father, do you know the comet Halley?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I saw it. I saw
Mm.
that. And that had a big impact on me as a child with the sun eclipse. So that's the combination about that. And the philosophy from how I walk, how I think, and the action and the results. So that was in 1994 with 14 years old. That's
Wow.
very young, but um, it still lives today. That's why I have the books. We're talking to each other. So that's awesome.
That's amazing. I love that. But that's the thing that I find like people tend to like have this kind of inner knowledge and perception younger, like at 14, you know? But then it kind of gets socialized out of us. We're supposed to like become like normal people in society, and we start getting taught not to trust these visions or dreams or
Yeah,
intuitions. Like, don't trust that. Trust what the authority says, you know? And it gets us
yeah,
like detached from our own kind of inner wisdom that we already carry with us. And then we have to go through this process with psychoanalysis or whatever way we do to like kind of undo that conditioning so we can kind of get back to our inner kind of core in that way. And it sounds like you were able to retain that, you know, all the way through.
yeah. And thanks to the circumstances and my mother, because my mother is a hardcore Christian,
Mm.
but um, the music, um, because I play guitar, classical guitar, and um, oh yes,
Oh, now I can't hear you. Where'd you go?
yeah,
Oh, now you're okay.
okay, yeah. Yeah, my mother was supporting my music, my vision and music, because once again, my actions. I wanted to play music and classical and metal music, so I merged them. And one time, my mother, he was listening with me together at Ingrid Malmsteen from Sweden, Ingrid Malmsteen, and
Mm.
Jason Becker and Marty Friedman. And I was teaching my mother, like, look, he's doing this because Bach and Vivaldi, we are
Mm.
listening to Vivaldi at home and Bach and Paganini. So these are the fundamental, the basics of the music. And my mother, like, whoa, it's very interesting. Those guys, they are cool. I like them. They're like dark and wild hair, but they're very sophisticated in music. So that's why my mother said, okay, listen to your music. I see you want it. You do it every day, like 9 hours a day, practicing and writing poetry writings. So my mother said, no, man, I think that's your thing. So go. You have my blessings. Uh, my mother was a very important, sustaining person in my decision
Yeah,
to
so
be like this.
supportive.
Yeah, and be a Christian. So I'm like watching Kenneth Angle, Lucifer Rising. My mother like, fun, my God, Satan is here. And so, but um, I was never like a how do you say it? A problem child.
Mm.
I was always in music, art, and sports. So my mother's like, okay, you listen to Marilyn Manson. I don't like that stuff, but um, every day you get better in your craft. So please listen more than, you know. So that's really a thing for people and for children to have a supportive person in your
Mhm.
life. Or is it your teacher, an uncle, maybe a friend, of, or if you see something on television, right now it's very difficult, but that, right then, Kenneth Anger was a mentor to me,
Mhm.
you know? So it's very important to have a supporting system. So I'm glad that you are a supporting system too for a lot of us. That's why you have the podcast. So I'm very, very glad and satisfied to be part of this.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you here. And I know we're coming up on 3 o'clock and that your time is limited, but you just have to come back and tell us about the rest of your books.
Yeah, really. And maybe in January, February,
Yeah, anytime.
you know, I'm open. I'm open and I'm ready. That's the stuff. I'm ready for this. I was like, I saw your Instagram posts. I love them. And at home, I was always visualizing, like, um, I was talking to Vanessa, talking to Carl. Someday we will get there, and this is the day.
Here we are.
Here we are. Here we are.
I love it. So wonderful. And I'll definitely, we should share your Instagram with people because you have such nice aesthetics and you post like such nice kind of positive. Like I love when one of your posts comes up and I'm like, yeah, that's a good reminder. They're always like good kind of positive messages to have this kind of willpower, stay focused, take action, and have agency in your life, you know?
Yeah, thank you, Vanessa. Really, this is wonderful to hear this because, you know, I'm working, I have the kids, my family, and this, I'm trying, like, not trying, I'm doing it, but
Hmm.
trying to get more out there, other than music, because I have the music page too, um, but more about the writings and the philosophy, because I'm ready for sharing.
Yeah, and you know what else you could do? You can always submit something for the Fenris Wolf and have an essay in the Fenris Wolf. The next one we're doing is going to be on film. So I don't know if you have anything you've written about film, but then the one after that will be open. So like anything about magic and this kind of like psychology, philosophy, is always welcome. So you can submit something for the Fenris Wolf and get your writing published there.
Really, I love to do that. I love to do that.
Yeah.
And and please say to Carl, thank you too. Thanks to Carl, and to show all the philosophy stuff and the Kenneth Anger and the Anton LaVey um, methods. So thank you,
Yeah,
really.
it's been really great since he discovered Substack and he was able to move all of his kind of films and lectures and stuff over to Substack. And now he's got like all his films, the Kenneth Anger, the LaVey, Genesis, everybody there. And he just posted, I don't know if you've seen it, but he just posted like he had this archival interview with LaVey that was done in the 90s and it never ended up seeing the light of day. It was recorded for a specific project, and it never saw the light
Yeah.
of day. And he kind of cleaned up the files and the video and the sound and edited it together. So it's this kind of like never seen interview with him, and it's so good because he knew kind of like he was nearing the end of his life, and he really wanted to like summarize his philosophy and everything. And he really like it's such a beautiful. I just anytime I hear him speak, I just like love him. You know, I'm just like I love this guy. Like he's just like he just seems like so warm and intelligent and thoughtful and like you don't have to agree with all of his views, but like
Yeah.
he's so like self-actualized and it's just always such a pleasure to like be around someone or hear someone speak who's like, yeah, really forged their own path in life. That's really what we all need to be doing and doesn't worry so much about what other people think he should be doing. He really like made his own way. And then the next thing Carl's going to do is he has all the interviews from the Livet film. He's going to start
Yeah.
editing all the interview in because of course in a film you can only use like a little bit of everyone's interview because films have to be a certain length, which is pretty short compared to, I think Blanche's interview by itself is like 3 hours, you know? So he's going to edit
Wow.
everybody's interviews and start putting those up on his Substack too. So I think that's going to be really great.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work, a lot of work. I know.
He's all 24/7 working on stuff.
Yeah, yeah. But Vanessa, you too. I love to see your posts and how do you manage this with the podcast and everything? Um, it's appealing to me. I love it. I really love it, and it's really a pleasure to talk to you like this because we were chatting and maybe like some pictures and stuff, but this is really deep. This is really good.
Yeah, this is where it's at. Good. So you'll be my final podcast of this year, and then we'll talk again in the new year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I really want to do that.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. And I'll send you the link as soon as it's ready. It'll be either next week or the week after.
Awesome. Yeah, send me the link and we keep in touch. Please keep in
Yes,
touch. Yeah.
absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Vanessa.
Bye.
Okay, bye bye.